Alrighty, hello every folks, and good morning. I wanted to share a little bit of good news that I don't know how long this will last, but apparently as what I'd assume to be something of a Halloween sale of sorts, Salt and Sanctuary, specifically on the PS Vita and PS4, is only 89 cents. This is, quite frankly, friggin' ridiculous. For anyone that hasn't experienced this game before, look, if you like anything along the lines of your Metroidvanias or your Dark Souls or anything along those lines, it's basically an interesting take on those. So, like, let's say, while you do have obvious inspirations here from, your Souls things and whatnot, as far as the general utility behind a lot of things, you'll see a lot more of your more Castlevania inspirations there. And on top of that, you actually have a lot of interesting things going on with the actual like faction mechanics and whatnot. So, for example, this particular shrine right here is dedicated to what my character likes, which means that they get all of their benefits. So, like if they, like let's say they do some side quests for the faction in question, like I think that's what that guy's for, then they end up upgrading their equipment and whatnot. So anytime they stop at one of the what are essentially bonfire camps of sorts, you have a sort of like customized layout of people that you can bring into all of these locations, giving you different amenities, kind of allowing you to create your own little sort of mini hub areas throughout the world. And this creates kind of a different thing for every playthrough because you're going and picking different factions, and potentially they'll give you different things. Like, let's say you find the guys that are all about money, essentially you end up getting more money, you end up getting buffs from their juice, but if, let's say, you stopped at these mountain guys thing here, which I personally always use because it causes your healing item to turn into a loaf of bread, essentially they would kind of look at your bottle of golden juice and be like, well, we can't stock that. Here you go, have some loaves of bread. And that's just kind of what's here now. And maybe some of the vendors won't talk to you because they don't necessarily like you and stuff like that. It's a very interesting take on the whole like Metroid and Souls-like formula. This is a game that's got a lot of interesting stuff going on, just in terms of fun little quirks here and there. If you like the idea of different move sets for your different weapons and things, having more verticality to your attacks, again, just different actions taking place depending on how you're going and doing your buttons and things. Like the idea of having your different custom armor layouts and things, and also they actually have more of an almost like FF10-esque situation going on with the level ups. So instead of specifically just going for stats, you would essentially unlock different item categories or different unlocks for weapons and things. In this case, don't have more of that, but let's say we have something more like this, where you're going and kind of expanding out from a tree, and your choice of class primarily dictates where you're starting off in this tree. So some of them are going to be stats, some are going to be additional healing items, some are going to be additional spell slots, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on here in terms of just like little changes on the formula. I personally love it. Like, I personally really love this version. I have the PC version, and yet it's always the Vita version that I'm going back to. Simply put, because it's one of those games that, or it's one of those handhelds that just really kind of did everything right in my book. It's really my favorite handheld of all time. But yeah, anything that you would kind of expect to be in one of these games is going to be here, whether you wanted your parry mechanics, which I'm currently not doing right, because this guy is going and staggering me out of it with his crossbow here, or if you wanted more movement tech later on down the line, you do have all of your crazy jumps and things, like you may have noticed. You kind of very quickly go from Dark Souls to a proper Castlevania type situation whenever you're towards the end game there, where you're doing a lot more jumping around and whatnot. But yeah, it always remains interesting. The health system is kind of interesting in that it does what Souls would later do down the line, where you've got a lot of sort of permanence to a lot of damage that you take. Like you may notice I'm missing a pip of my health after healing at the top there. And your ability to manage kind of the degradation of your character between the different rest areas is a huge part of a tankier build. And yeah, as you may have noticed, there's a lantern sticking off this spear, so you've got like modifications you can attach to your weapons for different things. Some of them are more useful than others, like, attaching a range extension to your claymore and stuff like that, but anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff to play around with here. Again, 89 cents, you really cannot go wrong with that, and if you're just looking for PS4, it cross-buys on both systems. It's one of the few games that got a cross-buy option, so yeah, definitely give it a look. Like I said, easily probably one of my favorite Vita games ever. And it just plays really nice on this system. Something about having your healing item on the touchscreen just feels natural. I think it's just because you constantly want to mash it, and then you're not sure if you're hitting the button at the right time. And here, it's just like tap 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 tap. But either way, also it makes it really convenient to just kind of quick throw knives and things. So you know, it's good. It's good. It's a good deal. It's a great game. Give it a look. I don't know if they're ever actually they did make a Assault and Sanctuary 2, didn't they? Well, anyway, the original is 89 cents. It's fantastic. Go get it later. Bye.